Dear friends, when a Hebrew Bible speaks about a temple, any temple, it uses expression which literally translates as the house of God, Bet El, or house of the Lord, Bet Yahweh. It was not unique for the Bible. Other Semitic languages, other peoples around, use the same or similar expressions. Thus, Bet Baal was a house of Baal, or in America pronounced Baal, or Bet Anat, house of goddess Anat, and so on. A temple was simply a house of this or that god or goddess. And it made perfect sense. Common people lived in their houses. Kings lived in their houses. Royal palaces were literally Bet Melech, a house of the king. And God lived in God's house. Of course, there was a class stratification. By the city wall lived the poor people. Ever closer to the center lived those wealthier, aristocracy. And at the center, and usually on the highest spot in the town or city, was the royal palace, Bet Melech, house of the king, itself in a shadow of the temple, Bet El, God's house. But all their neighbors. During religious festivals, the temple was a center of a big party for everyone, rich, poor, noble, common, royalty, and even their patron god. All participated. But all it was more than just festivals and joy and merriment. A neighbor king provided security with his army. A neighbor god from his house provided divine protection and blessing. And this divine neighborliness, this splendor, holiness, and perfection of the temple altogether led to an interesting development. Among the Iron Age Semitic people, Bet El, the temple, became a deity. The house of God became divine. It was personified. It was deified. It went beyond simple metonymy. The temple, Bet El, was guarantor of contracts, for instance, and a recipient of prayers and offerings. Even in the Bible, there are several instances indicating that some Hebrew people actually worshipped Bet El, worshipped temple, worshipped house of God. A place of religious festivals, a place where they were coming to encounter and worship God. That place of worship became itself an object of worship. And this worship of God called Bet El, God called house of God, God temple, that is something you might not know about the Bible. But don't think all those ancient peoples were silly. They were only more honest, upfront about their motives. Until today, there are some people who worship their places of worship more than God. Of course, biblical prophets were not happy about it, about this idolatry. And in the Bible, there are multiple warnings against worshiping places of worship. And eventually, several distractions of, say, Jerusalem temple took care of it. People realized that they are to worship God rather than the place where they worship God. This Sunday we celebrate homecoming. We will rejoice in being neighbors, including our virtual internet live stream and Zoom neighbors. But we will not worship house of God. We will rejoice in it, and we will worship God together.